Now, say my name.
The Rolling Bad Podcast.
You're goddamn right.
Welcome to the Rolling Bad Podcast, episode number 21, coming to you from the desolate wastelands of Albuquerque, New Mexico. We are recording on March 22nd, and I'm your host, Elric Edge. Tonight with me are
Bill Costello.
And James Tapia.
Tonight's show, we're going to talk about all kinds of different stuff. New releases that have come out, some things that we've built, some battles we've fought, and some upcoming content for Rolling Bad, as well as some discussions about tournaments. You know, the usual stuff that we
that's stuff
go
that
back
we
and
do.
forth on. Because, we're the official tournament podcast of North America. Ugh, that's a shallow barrel. All right, let's do a show.
Yeah, let's. The Realm of the New Dawn. Well, we're going to talk about all the cool stuff that GW has released. Honestly, the last couple of weeks have seen some pretty amazing stuff on all sides of Games Workshop for 40K, for 30K, and for Age of Sigmar has had like, wow, you guys wanted stuff? Here's stuff.
Yeah.
So what do we want to hit first? Do we want to just briefly cover the 40K, 30K stuff?
Sure. So let's do 30K. Let's get that out of the way.
Okay, so for 30K, the Forge World Book 7 Inferno came out. If you've been following those books, oh my flippin' lord.
Yeah, I don't know anything about 30K really or any of that, but just flipping through that book it's crazy. It's such a nice book.
Yeah, it's, the production value is through the roof. They're beautiful books. We're not going to cover anything about it. If you want to go that independent characters, I think the next 2 episodes are going to be the Book 7 coverage.
There's plenty of podcasts dedicated specifically
to 30K. So, but it's definitely gorgeous.
Yeah.
In the 40K world, well, I guess Guilliman came out. That's something.
Yeah, I think he was out last time.
We talked about that in the Book 3, The Gathering Storm. Read through that. I mean, literally Saturday, I downloaded the book because I didn't want to wait till I got to the game store and read the fluff. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Right now I'm in the middle of A Fracture of Bealtan. And yeah, it's good.
It
has me wanting to play, well, weirdly enough, it has me wanting to play Eldar, which is not a huge pull for me, but has me wanting to play 40K.
Yeah, I know.
That's the biggest thing.
And that's the thing, when you start with the Book 3 and you get to the end, which the end, I don't want to say anything about the end for anybody that hasn't done it, but it's amazing. It's crazy. It's almost anticlimactic, but with a Primarch running around in the Imperium, oh man, things are starting to shake apart.
So that's the thing, is I don't think this is the end of this is the end of the Gathering Storm.
Yes.
But I think it's going to lead into, I'm hoping it leads into another big story arc.
There it is. You can just see it. I mean, Robute is just now on his way to unscrew the Imperium up and put it on a battle footing. He's tired of this. Oh, let's just go and fight a little over here and stop them a little over here. No, it's time to muster the Imperium, and we're going to go do some stuff.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's very, very good story.
Right on.
So
also, you have, what's that?
We can drop the 40K. Oh, well, actually, there is the Gathering Storm companion book that came out.
Yeah, so this is actually really nice. It's a whole lot of visual porn for all the Gathering Storm that came out. So the 3 triumvirate boxes and all the models that are in them. But it also has detailed conversations with the guys who designed the models and sculpted them and painted them and the thought process that went into all that stuff. So this is actually really cool because this is something new they've been doing lately, where they really get some of the guys that are behind the scenes and bring them to the forefront and really let you not necessarily watch how the sausage is made, but at least listen to the people talk about how they make the sausage.
Well, yeah, and that's if you look at the Warhammer TV, they had Jess Goodwin on there talking about sculpting the different models and how they approach that thing, and that's what that book is all about, between the sculptors and the painters. It's not a how to paint this to the heavy metal standard.
Right.
It's what was our thought process with making the sculpt the way we did and then painting it the way we did. Obviously, Guilliman's going to be blue, but why does he have that look? Why does he have that pose? Why is his armor bulky like it is? So
yeah, like the thought process behind the armor of fate and then the sword of the emperor and things like that. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's a very good book.
Yeah, if you're into that kind of stuff, more than just the gaming, and you're interested in a lot more of the hobby in general, I would suggest it.
Yep. So nothing really happened for Sigmar, though. Nothing really big came out. No news or anything. So
I think so.
We can skip right over that, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to creation.
So, yeah, Blades of Corn.
Yeah. Who knew?
Announced. Man.
Who knew?
Ryan's going to be happy.
Yeah,
in a big way.
So, very cool that they are doing a book for Khorne that is essentially like their version of the Disciples of Tzeentch book.
Well, and also it's kind of like the new Stormcast Eternal. It takes everything that was spread out and puts it all into one place for you.
If you'll notice, Stormcast Extremis is no longer like
it's not a thing.
It's it's just back to Stormcast Eternals, which I like.
That's great.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to see what they do. If they change any rules, or if they modify any war scrolls, or if it's just going to be here's all the Khorne stuff in one location, plus, some artifact weapons, armor, chaos runes, or whatever, all the different things that they could do.
I heard one of the things they're going to do is make it to where Sail the Faithless didn't have any effect on Khorne models. So.
Really?
No, I didn't hear that at all. I was just trying to get a lot of people really mad.
That would be pretty awesome.
That was for you, Ryan.
Just write in bold print. Sail the Faithless has no effect on models with the Mark of Khorne.
But again, it goes back to that whole thing of we're getting order, we're getting chaos. We haven't seen even a smattering of death or destruction. So at some point in the future, I guarantee you there's going to be a tidal wave of those two.
I certainly hope so, especially for death. Also, a lot for destruction.
Yeah, they need... I mean, like we were talking about the last time, they have one really beat-face list, and it's a mixed destruction list. There's lots of little tweaks you can make to it, but honestly, if you wanted to be straight Ironjaws, if you want to be straight Bone Splitters, everyone's going to hate you. If you want to be Ironjaws, you're going to struggle against a lot of different scenarios and armies. So if you don't take that mixed list, you're kind of out there, and it's the same thing really with Death. If you're not Tomb Kings, you kind of have to make a very mixed list because nothing on its own can really stand up.
Well, I think the problem with Death is you're just going to keep getting cookie cutter lists that are going to involve a Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon with some Morn Ghouls, some cheap battle line,
and more gas,
and more
lots
gas.
And lots of ghouls, or insert 60 skeletons, zombies, whatever your flavor is. So
and you can't blame Death players for that because there's just not a whole lot. I know a lot of people talk about like, well, I'll do a Soulblight army, and it's like,
will you?
Nah, you probably won't because I've yet to really see that be a thing because they're not really that solid of a faction all around. They just don't have enough, and the rest like Night Haunt. I know Scott has a Night Haunt army, and it looks cool on the table.
It's beautiful.
But I just don't think it really competes anymore. Those mono death lists that follow just one faction, even Flesh Eater Court, I think just does not have.
Yeah, they have a couple of gaping holes.
Yeah.
So
I just.
Yeah, it's kind of sad for those two really allegiances. But then again, Chaos and Order, wow, you can have some fun in those.
Yeah,
with all the stuff that's coming out now, and of course, this new Battletome for Khorne, I hope it sets a new standard for Chaos, as the Tzeentch book did.
Yeah.
Because now you have a seriously magical, flingy Tzeentch type build for those people that like that. You have to believe the Khorne list is going to be more in your face, beat you down kind of thing. So you have options there, just like you have in Order now. So I think it can only be a good thing, but boy, they need to work the others.
Yeah, definitely. So
I think that was about it then, right? Oh, there was
the big
more.
one. The Caradhran Overlords.
So we were in a paint night. We were having our Skype paint night when all of a sudden,
Yeah, that was something else. I was trying to go to sleep because I had to get up in a couple hours to go to work, and I couldn't quite fall asleep. And there had been rumors that that some big announcement was coming. I was just trolling Facebook as I do, and I refreshed it, and there was this little video from Warhammer TV, and I was like, huh, that's weird to be releasing something at this point. Keep in mind, I was tired, so I wasn't quite putting one and one together. And I watched their little video, and a tear of joy came to my eye. So, what's your guys' initial reaction to the Overlords? Shut up. Get out. Mute him. James has nothing useful. What'd you paint, James? That's all you got to say, then you can leave. You got nothing else after that.
Are we calling them derfs? Squats?
I swear to God.
oh, the squats. Yes. Wow. I got to tell you, as a steampunk lover myself, those models are flipping out of this world.
Yeah.
They are just so cool.
So, months ago, friend of the show, Ryan, when teaser picture of the spear with the hook on it, when they showed that, he was like, Sky Pirate Dwarves.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And that was like back in, what did we say, December?
Yeah, that was so long ago.
And I have to say that when he said that, my initial reaction was, that sounds pretty stupid.
Yeah.
Because in my head, I was thinking dwarves with like billowing blouses and like rapiers, pirouetting around like
little eye patches, going arg.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, that sounds like the dumbest stuff ever.
Yeah.
And then they hit us with this, and I was like, wow, not only did you go in the direction I didn't think would work, but you smashed it out of the park?
Yeah,
in
pretty
the direction
much.
I didn't think would work?
Pretty much. Who thought of airborne dwarves,
Right. Like, yeah. And I got a big old kind of rant that I'll do later about other people's views on them. But yeah, I'm completely blown away over everything. It is the most phenomenal release I've seen.
Yeah.
To me, it is the absolute embodiment of Age of Sigmar.
Yes.
And what we should be looking forward to.
And the way that they just took the boundaries and said, no, we don't have those anymore.
Exactly.
So
I think the first army that you really, I mean, yes, there's the Stormcast Eternals, that kind of give us a flavor of the potential, I guess, of Age of Sigmar.
Right.
They've got some really cool stuff, especially when Extremis came out and we got the Star Drakes and the Dracoths and stuff like that. It was really, really cool to see just something kind of alien, something very different than, knights on horses. That being said, there wasn't really anything after that, I don't think, that
really broke new ground. Even the Fire Slayers were kind of what you expected
a Slayer army
dwarves to look like.
And then Iron Jaws, while they look phenomenal, I'm absolutely in love with the army, the way they look. They're basically just bigger, nastier orcs.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
That's like the concept, right?
Right.
Behind them is that, you used to have orcs that became black orcs. The longer they fought, the harder they fought, the more they won, the nastier they got, the bigger, everything like that, until eventually they became black orcs and war bosses, etc. So this was just like the next evolution of that, of what happens when you're no longer, rampaging around the Badlands and making a foray into the Empire or something like that. What happens if you're part of a realm that knows absolutely nothing but constant fighting against an enemy that wants to fight just as much as you?
Ceaseless and endless in number.
Right. So it kind of makes sense that Ironjaws would come from that. So, but even then, like, it didn't really feel like they were pushing it.
No, they didn't push it out.
And this, I mean, you got dudes that are head to toe in armor.
Yeah.
not a bit of skin is showing, and there's a reason for that. It's going to be explained in the fluff. There's a great picture of the one that's standing there in basically just his jockeys in front of a suit of armor, like he's
getting ready to get in it.
Exactly.
And I think they put that picture out because there was so many people saying, are those empty suits?
Right.
You know, there was so many, there was so much
Death
talk.
Duarden.
Or,
like
you know,
that,
are they rubric Duarden or something, you know?
Thousand Suns.
I really think that, I mean, God knows that art was probably commissioned 6 months ago, but...
Oh, I'm sure it was longer than that.
Yeah, I still think that release was made to say, no, these are real dwarves that get into really big suits.
Yeah, and there's going to be a reason
there's a reason
for that. You know, they capture ether gold, which is basically a gas version of gold that they then infuse with magic. What's wrong with
Don't get me started. You saw my comment the other day on the chat. I mean, it's like, how many different versions of gold are we going to have?
It's the Mortal Realms, man.
I understand, and I like it, and I'm
Realms.
not knocking the backstory, but we have gold that you find, you know, on every alternate Tuesday when the sun's up. Now we have ether gold that you can actually find on Thursday evenings if the sun's down.
In the sky.
Yeah, in the sky. So, you know, it's I think it's kind of a funny motif, and I actually hope they keep going with it. That each race, you know, each sub-faction of the Duarden have a different sort of thing they're after so that they're not after each other.
The real question is any of this gold as tough as tree bark?
Yeah.
God. We'll see.
Well, you know they're selling it to Sigmar, and they're just giggling behind their backs.
Well, that's part of that one Wargrove or whatever out of the Sylvaneth where they team up with Duarden.
Yeah.
You can take up to 2 units of Duarden.
Mm-hmm.
The Duarden are the ones that help the Sylvaneth get all tough like that.
They're nailing the gold leaf on the...
Exactly, yeah. The gold filament.
This is what gives you iron armor or iron oak armor.
Yeah, so hopefully this version of Duarden will actually keep the good stuff for themselves as opposed to the dumbass dwarves of 8th edition who made great armor and then shipped it all to the Empire. And they're like, well, let's go fight Skaven in paper mache. Whee!
Yeah, that's what we do.
Dumbasses.
Hey.
So, anyways, yeah, it's phenomenal.
It's those airships look. There's no comparison to anything that's been done in the past that you're like, oh well, that's just, you know, the gyrocopter modified.
Right.
No, these things are out there, and they captured that. I mean, that whole army, the way they dropped it all at once with the pictures, all of it looks tight. It looks so integrated.
Yeah.
It's just,
and the big ship, the Ironclad,
man,
it's massive.
Yeah,
it is absolutely massive. From the photos, I think it was at Gamma.
Didn't someone say that if you stood it on its end, it's as big as a bloodthirster?
Bigger.
Bloodthirster.
There's a picture of it in a glass case. Directly underneath it, in the shelf below, is the Battletome, and it's about the size of the Battletome.
Wow, that's huge.
So, and it's on the night base, the Imperial night base.
Yeah, that makes sense.
To me, I think maybe the only other model that has really pushed the boundaries as much as that boat is Smaug.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Which is Forge World only and 500 some
it's
odd.
it's a GW model, but it's made with
the
same type of resin.
And,
But yeah, it's I hope this boat better not be $500 like Smaug. But
no, it won't be. I don't think it'll be resin. No, because they said it was all plastic kits.
Sure,
So.
but I think that's probably like the only other model that Games Workshop proper has done that I feel really rivals in scope with that. Because I know Archeon is a big, imposing, highly detailed, beautiful model. You got like Alariel is also up there, but I think once you see this thing in person with a high quality paint job on it, it's going to be one of the most stunning things on the table.
Well, this is another one of those, with the Tzeentch army, you knew you're going to see a lot of amazing paint jobs. I think with this army, the quality of the people that paint in Age of Sigmar, I think, is so crazy high that we're going to see some stuff that just goes nuts.
Are they going to get the special rules though?
Well, yeah. If your Sky Dwarves aren't painted the certain type of color, they don't get the...
If that is the wrong shade of purple, you just take all your shit off the table right now. I don't even want to look at it. I'm so tired of this discussion. So
We haven't even gotten to lore yet, and we're starting that
know.
one. Oh my
Yeah.
god, that's
I'll
gonna
save
be
it for
fun.
the rant.
Oh yeah,
I'll save it for
because
the
we're
rant.
all gonna. Okay, anyway, yeah. So what more do we? Any more about the new Caradron Overlord?
I mean, we really don't have much other than like the names of the stuff that was shown.
Yeah.
There's a special character which is really cool because we haven't gotten any of those that aren't. Gordrak is the only non-god type character essentially. I know Archeon's not technically a god,
but
he's right about there.
Yeah.
You know, Alariel is a walking talking god. Nagash is a walking talking god. So
yeah. So
whoever this Duarden guy is, very interested to see his shtick.
I'm just hoping that they synergize well with something like Fire. You know, I know they're not totally supposed to be all, you know, bro on bro with the Fire Slayers and what have you, but I hope it's not that. I still hope they synergize with other dwarves. So
the only way that's going to happen is if their stuff affects keyword Duarden.
Yeah.
But I seriously doubt it. It'll probably be
Caradron. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And they might do a formation or two that includes Fire Slayers or Iron Will Arsenal or something like that.
Hopefully there's one that includes maybe like Stormcast or something. I hope there's a formation that's similar to the Beastclaw Raiders had one with Iron Jaws.
Yeah.
The Sylvaneth had the one with Duarden, and they had one with Stormcast Eternals.
Stormcast Eternals and a wizard or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and the Order Wizard. You know.
How about Seraphon and Caradron?
You get out of here.
Oh, come on.
Sense.
Jesus, just crap on my narrative. Why don't you?
We're done with that army. That ship has sailed.
You just wait. We're going to get a new book, and they're going to be cool again.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Let's move on to creation.
We don't want to pull a Tales of Sigmar and gush about them for
too long.
We got a couple more things.
What's that?
We had the Azir app.
Oh, the Azir app.
Oh, yeah.
What am I thinking? Yeah.
So for 99 cents.
Wow. A month. 12 pounds a year.
Oh, it's in
or
dollars.
Yeah, I'm sorry. $12 a year. Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
That's like the first time it's been a straight across.
Straight across.
Well, it's because I think they're going through the App Store.
Yeah.
And so they do their transactions in US dollars that way.
Yeah, but they could have done it as like $1.29 or something to reflect the exchange rate.
Yeah, I guess.
But Apple recommends against that when you mark it on the Apple Store.
So yeah, it's 99 pence a month in England. It's 99 cents a month in the States.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's $45 a day in Australia.
Yeah, I think so. Well, it was either hourly or daily,
Yeah, I think much like a prostitute. I think it charges by the hour.
Yeah, that's right. And you have to get a room with it. So.
Right, exactly.
But yes, the Azir app is actually kick butt.
Yeah.
And there have been some problems with it, but they've been knocking them out. I mean, there's almost like daily updates to it.
Exactly. They've been adding stuff, changing units around. Oh, hey, I can't add an Order Wizard to my gnarled route. Got fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Nice. I haven't messed around with it a whole lot. I do have to say my biggest pro with it so far is being able to save the list.
Yes.
Yep.
That's probably
the
biggest thing.
That's why I never before this actually I did not use War Scroll Builder. I was using
Quartermaster, wasn't it?
Quartermaster, and I was making my own templates just so I could save the list, and because I make 5 variations of a list with 100-point difference between the two, or between the 5 of them.
Sure.
I kind of like having both of them, really, because I like the way, you can just play around in War Scroll Builder just so easily sitting at the computer. But I know you were mentioning the other day that War Scroll Builder, if you're in a place where you don't have a great connection to the internet, it's really hard to use. Now, Azir you can use from, the phone, the iPad, and all that stuff. So
you don't have to have an internet connection.
Right.
To use it.
Yeah, once you have and I know I spent the other day downloading every War Scroll like an idiot. But I want to have them all so that when I don't have a connection, like at work where I can't have Wi-Fi, I want to be able to.
Shouldn't you be doing work?
Oh, well, yeah, of course, I never would.
What's the government paying you for?
No, it's what are you paying me for, Mr. Taxpayer.
Gotcha.
You're paying me to build lists, Seraphon lists.
Money well spent, I'm sure. So, yeah, I think overall we all give it a pretty
Yeah, big
Pretty solid
thumbs up.
thumbs up.
It needs better output. I do like the list that it creates. The full page list, it's really nice. It's got all the information, plus you can customize the names of your units and put pictures in there. And of course, needless to say, if I see another freaking chaos list that's nothing but Playboy Playmates, I'm going to throw up. But I will do the same thing myself, I'm sure.
Oh, and the other big suggestion I would give is to be able to change the point limits for match play.
Yes.
Because right now they have 1,000,
1,000,
2,000,
2,000, yeah. And we need to be able to have something else.
For like 1,500.
Or even anything, because, for an
1780.
escalation league, you might be going up 200, 250 points
like we're going
a
to
pop. Yeah. So that would be nice. And a better, more compact format, like, learn from War Scroll Builder. Tony P's pretty smart. He's pretty much knows his audience. Why don't you just copy him?
But yeah, great app. I like it. Anything else?
Yeah.
Warhammer Underworld Shadespire, they announced.
Yeah.
We don't know much about it, but...
So it's going to be some kind of arena fighting game. I don't know if it'll be anything like Gore Chosen, but we haven't really heard anything much about it. We got like a tiny blurb and a picture of a Stormcast without his helmet on.
We've heard more about the Armageddon game than we have that one. So
yeah, this might be their foot in the door with like league play, because that's what they say, it was supposed to be match play oriented.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this would be something you could play with a guy or two and less 30 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe their answer to Hinterlands. Something along that style. I don't know. We really don't have much.
No.
So it's all pure speculation.
Real conjecture, but
however, we did get some information on the essentially Necromunda.
Yeah.
The new Necromunda.
Yeah.
Which looks pretty flippin' cool, because instead of it being like pissant human gangers and stuff like that, it's kind of like Kill Team.
Yeah.
It's going to be a mix of, looks like Kill Team and Necromunda.
Yeah, and even in the official, announcement, they talked about all the different things that are included with it. There's just going to be the 2 base teams that come with it, or squads. But you can use Necron Warriors, Necron Immortals, Dark Eldar, all these different...
Warriors,
so you can, whatever you're playing right now, you can probably just drop into the game and start playing. So that's a brilliant move right there.
Sure, definitely.
So... And these are all, it struck me the other day about how everything they're doing is all gateway drugs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Everything.
Really ramped up these like easy to get into board game type things that use the models that you
already have.
Age of Sigmar and 40K. So,
and then, one of the things I've been looking at, especially on the 40K side, is all these box sets that are coming out. You have the Death Storm, which has this and that. Death Mask, which has some of this and some of that. All of them are just enough to get started with an army and decide, wow, I like the way these guys are. Let me go buy $2,000 worth more of them. And it's, even Gore Chosen was one of those deals where so many different heroes, any, chaos heroes were available for that game right inside of it.
Yeah.
However, some of them weren't. So, bam, there you are going to get the blister pack to get that cool guy.
Yeah. Oh, and guess what? You can also use all those characters in Silver Tower.
In every other game you own.
So, pretty genius.
Yeah.
They're doing all of that.
Yep.
I think that's just about everything.
I'm sure we missed something.
We're recording this on Wednesday evening, and
Adepticon
tomorrow
is starting.
They're probably going to blow the doors off of a bunch of new stuff. People are speculating elves. I don't think so. I think
really.
I think we're done seeing. There will be more for AOS, because they've said they still have more things to announce for Age of Sigmar. But I don't think there'll be anything major. I think if we're going to get some new army announcement or any major announcement, it'll be 40K based at this point. After getting the Quadrant Overlords and the Blades of Khorne and this Underworlds thing, all for Age of Sigmar.
Blades of Khorne isn't even an army roulette; it's a book.
Sure,
so there's nothing.
It's still, 2 battle tomes in 1 month.
But look at what they've been doing lately with pipelining both games at the same time. They're dropping major 40K stuff along with major AOS stuff.
Right, but
we have leapfrogging.
We haven't really got a major 40K announcement.
Well,
other than the whatever, I can't even remember what the Armageddon thing.
Yeah, but the triumvirates are all out now.
Right.
I think we're going to see that little bit of a lull before 8th edition drops.
Maybe they'll announce 8th edition.
That's what I'm thinking is that Adepticon 8th
That was
edition
the big
drops.
thing, was a new game or whatever was going to be announced.
Yeah,
so.
and I'm pretty sure it's going to be 8th with all of its attendant
One can only hope.
angst. So, yeah, I know. That's the same here. So. Okay, folks, what follows next is a quick news flash that we got while we were recording. We got some tweets and some messages from the Adepticon crew while we were in the midst of recording the podcast. So we're going to cut to a quick news blurb. By now, everybody knows it, but we heard it here first after everyone else did. Yeah, that was it.
See that?
AOS partnered with War Scroll Builder to bring it to the Warhammer community site for free starting in May. Which one did you see?
The female Stormcast?
But yeah, it's going to be fun times. We are definitely living in good times. A golden age.
And Aether Gold?
Aether Golden Age. Sure.
Is that a pun? Did I just make a pun?
You
That's
made
not
a pun. Okay, well, on that note, I'm going to go get beat up, and we're going to move on to the realm of creation.
The realm of creation, where we're going to talk about what we've been up to in the hobby the last 2 weeks. Bill, I know you've been up to some stuff.
Yes, sir. I took those 90 crypt ghouls, and I got them all primed, and I did some zenithal highlighting on them. But then you told me that you had a requirement, so I put those over to the side for a moment, and I built an Ophidian archway and 2 different numinous oculums so that we can have some cool-looking terrain for tables that we're going to talk about here in a bit. So those are all built, and they're primed, and they have a little bit of zenithal highlighting on them. I haven't washed them yet, so they look kind of sort of shiny. And yeah, but those are in work. I should have them done hopefully this weekend, maybe middle of next week.
Nice.
This is a badass piece of scenery.
Yeah, I don't like the way they go together. They're very cheap. You can see the gaps in some of those things, and I filled a lot of the gaps with plastic filler. They're still, once you get them washed up and painted, you're hardly going to notice that in favor of the
natural shading of it will kind of hide.
Yeah, hide it.
But yeah, there are some massive gaps.
Mm-hmm. And I actually took some of those pieces and put them on a belt sander to make them fit better.
Wow.
There was one set of columns that were so bent that as you set them down on the table, you could see the bow in it. And I'm like, no amount of heating is going to help that. So I just decided to put them on the old belt sander. And
I wonder what their justification is behind using this obviously different process to make the terrain as opposed to the models.
It's terrain.
It's heavier. It's much, much heavier stock plastic so that it stands up to abuse better, I think. And you can't get... I don't want to say you can't. They might be able to, but I don't think they're too worried so much about the fidelity, because when you're building terrain, you're going to do... most people hack that stuff up anyway.
Yeah, I guess. It looks badass, though, for sure. I like it. It's, the big flat panels definitely have a lot of detail. And,
oh, yeah. It's...
it looks like terrain that is accessible by any level of hobbyist.
It is.
So you could either put a ton of time into that, or you could just dry brush it.
Right.
And you're going to get a solid looking piece of terrain.
And that's just the whole, even their own painting video on, I believe they did the Baleful Realm Gate. They show you how simple it can be to turn out a really nice looking piece of terrain.
Sure.
So, and you don't have to spend, 200 hours to make it look good.
Right.
So,
right.
I do like the deep cut detail on the piece, because like you said, it's going to make when the wash goes on there, it's going to fill up all those little pieces, and it's going to really make it pop. And then when you decide to dry brush it or paint it, layer it, the thing's going to look gorgeous no matter how you do it.
Nice.
Yeah, but that was my creation.
You sure? I thought you did you build some zine stuff?
Too? Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, that's what I was doing on paint night. Yeah, I built, let me see, 2 Shaman, 3 Skyfires, 1 Magister, and I started work on the Zangors, but I had to put them back in the box. I wasn't ready to go forward with them. So my escalation army is on the way to escalating.
Nice.
Yeah.
Elric, you been doing anything?
Pregnant pause.
Sorry, we're getting pictures and updates from Adepticon as we're recording. So.
Yeah.
Apparently, Shadespire will be a mix of deck building and a tabletop game.
Oh, that's weird.
They're playing it right now.
Oh.
Okay. Anyways, so creation. I haven't been building a whole lot lately. I have been plugging away at the Iron Jaws, just trying to basically finish assembling everything that I have for the army so that James can finish painting it all and it can all just be out of the way. There's more Iron Jaws, buddy. There's more Iron Jaws for days. It's likely what I'll take to Broadside Bash, unless I borrow an army, because I'm not going to have my Stormcast built by then, because I'm going to do a lot of heavy conversion and kit bashing with them. The Overlords will not be out nearly long enough for me to put 2,000 points together and paint it in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah,
like
probably
1
not.
week.
Come on, I had a whole week to do half your Iron Jaws army. I mean, come on, you can do it.
Yeah, but I want my stuff to look good.
I do recall a podcast where he said, "Come on, James, 7 full days."
Yeah, James is a painter. I'm not. So even doing a fast speed paint job,
That's what I
it's
said.
still going to take me a while.
Base coat, wash, dip it, you're done.
Yeah. So yeah, I've just been slowly building Iron Jaws, and I finally reorganized my game room so that I could get all my destruction out to take a look at it, kind of catalog what I have. And it's pretty obscene. I covered my whole table almost.
You should put that up on Instagram so people know how sick you really are.
I covered my whole table, which is, I don't know, maybe like a 5x3 or something like that, in just goblins. And I still had more goblins to pull out, and I hadn't even touched on my Iron Jaws or regular Oryx. Yeah, I'm going to need to do something. I got to thin it down. So if anybody wants destruction, let me know. Especially if it's Oryx or goblins. I also found a whole stash of goblins that when I looked at the base that they were on, the base said 1984, which is the year I was born.
Wow.
So the models are as old as I am. 32-year-old models still look better than anything Mantic puts out.
Knew that was coming.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing.
And you?
Just plugging away on my Zinch army.
Nice.
Put some more details on the blue horrors. Painted up some brimstones. Did 20 of those, and then just kind of putting some more colors down on my Gaunt Summoner and my Changeling. It's getting there.
Are the blue horrors blue?
They are, unfortunately. I'm very sad about that.
What color would the pink horrors be?
They're blue and green. And the blue horrors are green and blue.
Well, then they fit.
So you don't get any of the special rules?
Nope.
God. Anyways.
So just chug along on that, as we'll talk about later. It was good enough for what we're working on, so we'll see. It's getting there. But I think that's all I had.
Is that it for creation? So we'll take a quick break because more pictures are coming in from Adepticon, and then we'll be back to Realm of Battle.
The Realm of Battle, where we're going to talk about the games we played in the last couple weeks. Bill, I know you've been neck deep in the dice rolling.
Yeah. Oh, totally. But no.
No?
I do have a game coming up tomorrow, but it's a teaching game. So
Yeah.
trying to bring some new blood into the hobby.
That's what it's all about.
That's right. So, but yeah, I'll be doing that tomorrow. But other than that, I haven't had a game in. Even the wife and I didn't play this weekend, so we had something else going on.
Nice. James?
Ooh, jeez. I've had a couple games. 2 weeks ago, I played Jules with his Death Army. He played his Tomb Kings with the new points.
Oh.
Put together a new list against my Zinch Demons. I think it was really big. It's pretty tough. I think a pretty tough matchup for him.
Yeah.
Since those snakes are really susceptible to shooting, and everything in my army does shooting.
Yeah. Are they susceptible to mortal wounds as well?
No, because they got to fight with death save.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough.
So we played that. I think we played Escalation, I want to say. And it was pretty much, I want to say by turn 3, it was pretty much over. I had shot the snakes off the board, Cetra off the board, all the skeletons. I think he just had a Morgul hiding in the corner, trying not to die.
Jeez. Again.
Oops.
Right, technically.
So, yeah. And then this last week, I played Andrew, LVO Champ.
Oh, yeah.
Wanted to try out my Tzeentch list against the real army.
Yeah.
Yeah. A real army. Hey.
So, he put together what he has now in Stormcast, kind of similar to his Wardens of the Realm Gate list.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he necessarily tailored to my army. I think he tailored it to the current quote-unquote meta of shooty armies.
Yeah, I think he and I have talked about how we think shooting is going to be dominant in the meta for a while, and he seems to think it won't be because Stormcast have such a solid answer to shooting, or that's how he felt at
No, they
time.
do. They do have a pretty solid answer to shooting.
Yeah.
I just felt during our game we played Blood and Glory, and it might seem like a lot of my shooting didn't do much against him. It was my gateways and firestorms of Tzeentch doing all the damage to him with mortal wounds, pretty much. The way he builds it is still that turtle list where I think he's using the priest with the lantern that makes you reroll 6s to hit.
Yeah.
And he's using his protectors to give you -1 to hit. So you're needing those high numbers, and then he's making you reroll them. So
right.
Your shooting kind of doesn't do, or at least my shooting with the flamers doesn't do much against that unit.
Yeah.
So I had to gateway off the Lord, giving him the staunch defender. Then I had to gateway off the paladins, or attempt to. Actually, I don't think I've ever killed that unit.
Damn.
Oh yeah, he said that nobody's ever killed it before.
Yeah,
The
I got it down.
paladin
I got it down pretty close. So, he kind of came towards me, came down on my left side, and I kind of went up on my right side with all my extra chaff. Went going for his back objective back there. So, end of turn 5, we were at 2-2. I made a 10-inch charge with my pink horrors, and I kind of gave my hand away, but I was hoping he would
oh yeah,
kill some of them.
Yeah.
I'd roll a battle shock. If I rolled a 1, if I
Mhm.
got 3 guys back, I had enough to pull some of those shenanigans when you're bringing back models. and
Yeah.
Get within the objective and win.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of gave it away. I was laughing pretty maniacally. So I wasn't, it was just for fun. So it ended up being a draw on objectives. We went to points for a minor victory after that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how he landed up getting the minor victory on me with points.
Nice.
And then, which we'll talk about later in the Realm of Lore, I had another battle, which everyone can
Oh yeah.
see.
Yeah.
So I played a game a couple weeks ago against the Fire Slayers. Finally,
Nice.
I wanted to give Robert a game against an army that wasn't just going to sit back and shoot. It was actually going to get up there and
Close
fight
with him. Yeah.
Yeah, so because he's still learning the game and everything, and it can be kind of frustrating when you're trying to figure out your army and it seems like you can't do anything against your opponent. So we played Escalation. We basically just had a great big scrum. I ended up winning by pulling off a massive Foot of Gork at the bottom of turn 4, and I basically deleted an entire flank with one spell.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Wow.
And he didn't have enough time to get the bits of his army over there to take that objective.
Wow.
To swing the points. So I ended up winning it. Really fun game. That being said, this is just throwing this out there. When 2 people are playing a game and you're going to sit there and watch,
Mhm.
keep your mouth shut and let those people play a game.
Is that etiquette?
That might be etiquette.
Wow.
We had a serious problem with certain individuals, some of them maybe in this room, that were getting Robert really flustered. Because like I said, he's still learning the game.
Yeah.
Not only the game, but his army.
The tactic,
And when people are like, oh, but you could do this combo, and next time you build an army, do this, and why didn't you do this? You should have deployed these guys over here. And it's like, stop.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the intention is to help, but not helping at all. And it got to the point where, like, he had essentially just forgot everything.
Yeah.
He was looking up every single rule because he just got so flustered.
Wow.
And it didn't help me because I got pissed, but also disinterested.
Sidetracked, yeah.
Because the turns were just dragging on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that aspect was not pleasant.
Mm.
So just if you want to watch a game, that's fine. And if you have comments to make, wait till afterwards.
Sure.
And then we can all sit down and have a little powwow.
A teaching moment.
Yeah. So just throwing that out there. But yeah, it was really fun. It was fun to finally get to play against the Fire Slayers.
Yeah.
Damn, they are tough.
With the new points, they're a thing.
Well, just having a 4-up with a reroll with a 4-up, man, I was throwing brutes like nobody's business into those guys, and I just could. It took forever to chew through them, and swinging back with 2 attacks apiece with Rend 1.
Yeah,
it was just enough to constantly keep picking at me, and when every Auric every brute that runs away takes 2 more with him because the battle shock is garbage, or their bravery. It was it was rough. The one thing that I did try, 2 things I did try that were completely different, people have not been really doing, is I took the Maw Crusher as my general, which is nothing new there, but his command trait, I took +1 wound.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And then for his artifact, I gave him the Meteoric Hammerblade. And they both worked out phenomenally. So there was a point fighting against... I was just in a great big scrum with the Mega Boss on Maw Crusher, and he got down to 14 wounds, which would normally kill him. But I had +1
wound.
Yeah, so worked out really well there. And then the Meteoric Hammerblade was awesome. So I took the Choppa and Riptooth Fist configuration because the Riptooth Fist is really good, but it only has 1 attack. And sometimes what you're fighting, you don't need the Rend 2 off of it. So the way the Meteoric Hammerblade works is you just pick one of your weapons, and instead of swinging with it, you make an attack with the Hammerblade. And so everything within 3 inches, friend or foe, you roll a die, and on a 5 or a 6, it takes a mortal wound.
Yeah.
And I was just chewing through Fire Slayers at that point with him. So that was really helpful. It was really useful. And then I found that because you don't have to swing with the hammer blade, it's an option. So if you wog and you roll a 6 and you get the +2 attacks, then you can switch back to the Riptooth Fist.
Yeah.
And it'll likely do more damage that way.
Right.
So it's nice having that flexibility.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like maybe the most competitive thing, but it definitely gives you the option to pump out some mortal wounds.
And that's really what you need.
Yeah.
How bad in the Iron Jaws.
And, I know a lot of people just default to the Battle Brew. I think the Maw Crusher is punchy enough that he doesn't necessarily have to have that, especially if you give him Bellowing Tyrant, gives himself +1 to hit, or if you have a War Chanter, parked up his ass, he can just give him a +1 to hit there too. So the Battle Brew is really good on like the Foot Boss, or to an extent the Stonehorn, the Frostlord on Stonehorn too, because he's already kicking out mortal wounds and a ton of damage. But I'd be tempted to see what the Hammerblade does on that guy too. Boy. And the other option that a lot of people go with instead is the Talisman of Protection, which I would still, depending on what you're going up against.
I thought when you said you took the extra wound, you were going to say you had the Talisman because...
Just go for the extra protection.
Makes you way more durable.
Sure. Well, I did tailor my list to an extent because I know that he doesn't have much in the way of mortal wounds.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
He's got the magma draws can bleed on you potentially, and then if he charges with the picks and shields, they can potentially do mortal wounds as well. And there's a little bit here and there, but nothing. It's not like playing against Skaven or the new Zine Shotness and stuff like that. It's not going to be pouring out.
Right.
So it was interesting to try that. The +1 wound is probably not the most competitive thing. I know but the thing is a lot of people automatically overlook that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I've had so many instances where the exact number of wounds have been done to a character to kill him. And if I had just that extra wound.
Just that one wound.
I mean, I remember last year at the Slobberknocker, I was running Scarbrand. And while Scarbrand can't have, command traits and stuff like that, the very first game I played against Chaos Dwarves, my opponent had 20 of the stupid infernal Blackguard or something, the shooty guys, I don't remember. He used Sal the Faithless to park them just in range, and they get twice as many shots against monsters.
Oh, yeah.
And he did exactly 14 wounds to Scarbrand.
That's enough
after
to
the
make
saves and everything. And if I had just one more wound, Scarbrand would have been incandescent on my turn and probably rolled just, half his army.
Yeah, ripped through him.
It's like, just that one more wound. So, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a...
It's so situational, too, because you could get taken off by 5. In which case it was a waste. So, but yeah, when it works, it's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. And I would probably just go with Bellowing Tyrant as a default. It's so good. Or maybe the one that turns off terrain if you know you're going to be playing against Sylvaneth.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much the only time that one's really worth it as well. It's kind of... I know the destruction command traits aren't fantastic.
They're not stellar.
No, it's just Bellowing Tyrant, I think. Or a lot of people would use Ravager as well.
Well, Ravager's got a lot of pluses.
Yeah, I've never used it because I've never really rated it, but I've never built an army that relied on it either.
Right.
So I can see how there are some destruction lists that would really benefit from that extra 2 inches. So but that's my game.
That was Battle Den.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So now we're going to get into the rambling mess that is going to be our realm of lore.
Yeah.
The realm of lore.
Where we're going to talk about dual listing and sideboards and how different tournaments are run. Then we're going to talk with Elric about some things that leave him less than excited and happy. And then we're going to announce something that Rolling Bad is going to do, headed up by James. We'll drop that there. And then at the very end, we're going to roll a die and pick a winner of the Stormcast Eternal Battletome. So starting off with, we were going to get into how tournaments are organized list-wise. What we think about the dual list versus the sideboard. What do we think about that conversation that seems to be going on nowadays?
Well, I've been getting kind of asked a little bit about Rolling Bad Rumble 2, what kind of format we're going to be using. And I'm really curious about the dual list. I think it's a very interesting mechanic. And I've never used it before. So I kind of wanted to see it in action. So I was leaning towards that. Nothing is set in stone. If you're interested in coming to the Rolling Bad Rumble or anything like that, everything we're saying right now is just our thoughts, but nothing is set in stone about how the event's going to be run. So I just want to be clear about that. So I was leaning towards it because it sounds interesting. So a friend of the show, Ryan, went over to TGA and posted, what does everybody else think about this? And it seemed like the general consensus, not just about dual lists, but also sideboards, or just a straight list, and that's the only thing you get to play, like the whole gamut, not just the double list thing. He posted a question asking, what are thoughts on all these different things, and it seemed like the general consensus was double list is a bad idea, but having a sideboard of 500 points out of your 2,000 or whatever lends a lot of flexibility and fun to the game. It kind of helps break up the rock, paper, scissors approach that a lot of armies face. without getting too crazy. But the double list thing did not seem to go over too well. And that was from a handful of people who have played in double list events in the UK and whatnot. So it was kind of interesting getting that feedback.
I kind of wonder about that, though, because I wonder if some of that isn't hate directed at War Machine, because almost every War Machine tournament format includes that double list mentality.
Well, a lot of comments were like, it works well in War Machine, but I don't think it would work well in Age of Sigmar. And I don't know enough about the current War Machine scene to know why, personally. So
I still think with the double list, you're still locked into making choices before you get to the table. Yes, you have two and could potentially very different lists. Whereas a sideboard allows you to be amazingly flexible at that instant. And I think people prefer that kind of flexibility. And I mean, I prefer it myself. I know I didn't even use my sideboard at LVO, but I had that Mourngul sitting there if I ran into a situation where he was the answer. So, and I know Andrew, he tailored his list to win LVO based on what he did with his sideboard to meet all comers.
yeah.
So it gives you all that flexibility, whereas two lists, yes, you have two different lists, but again, there is no single list that's all comers.
James, your thoughts?
I'm kind of bleh on sideboards and double and two lists. I actually prefer just a single list myself.
Okay.
Because I think it gives you that much more restriction in the list building phase where you have to build something that can do all 6 scenarios and do them well if you want to win. And I think it just adds more. And because I mean, that's the problem with, we're always talking about Clan Scryer.
Yeah.
The reason Clan Scryer doesn't win tournaments, yes, it's awesome, but there's 1 or 2 scenarios
Right.
they fall apart in.
Yeah.
And that's why they're not top tables. Yeah, they're doing good, but there's 1 or 2 games that it's a real hard, battle for them because their list doesn't lend themselves to those scenarios, and so they don't win. And I think it kind of controls some of that. I mean, because if you ask me, like, what's an example of extreme min-maxing, list or something like that, that's, I think, a perfect example of one that's just, like, all out, shooting mortal wound spam. I null deploy, I pop up and destroy you in a turn or a double turn, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the whole mechanic of that list. Well, I'm not saying it's impossible to be, there's strategies out there for different various armies, but I think that helps keep that one in check versus if they had the double list or something like that in the 1 or 2 scenarios they're weak in, they can take a totally different list that lends to that strength of, you know what I'm saying, where you could see them starting to podium with that army.
Well, I think the flip side to that, though, is if I have a sideboard, I can incorporate some bits into that to help mitigate armies like that, potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, if you're facing Clan Scryer with all of its, you can chaff up and, get ready for that alpha strike.
I'm coming at it for more of a scenario focus than a who am I facing focus. I don't know. I just enjoy the challenge of trying to make it all work in one.
Yeah, but I think there's enough armies out there that might not be able to squeeze an army that can compete.
I agree.
In all phases, and I think you may run into more of a cookie cutter approach if you have no sideboard. So I'm getting further and further away from the double list. I think the sideboard's where it's at, the 500 point-ish sideboard, because if I can only take 2,000 points, I think that immediately makes quite a few armies non-viable. And so what you're going to get is a tighter, I don't want to say tighter meta. You're going to get a narrower meta, I guess.
The ones that can do all 6 scenarios.
Yeah, so what you're going to get is, you'll have, and probably what it will be is the newest stuff that's getting released.
Right.
And you're going to get armies that either have never gotten a battle tome but are still kind of an army, or you're going to get stuff that has a battle tome but has not been updated to include, tons of artifacts and spells and stuff, like Fire Slayers and Iron Jaws, and Flesh Eater Court, stuff like that.
Seraphon.
Well, they're unplayable anyways. But even those armies will lag behind because they don't have the ability without a sideboard to slot in something that may help them fight specific things, whereas Disciples of Tzeentch might just conveniently be able to compete in all those things because they are a newer army and they have a few more toys, or that they are just a bigger army, so there's more things to draw on. I think that because some of those other armies like Fire Slayers and Iron Jaws, or Everchosen, if you literally wanted to just play that army, the pool is so small that just by virtue of limitation, you can't compete in all 6 scenarios.
So you pick a better army.
Well, but again, we're okay.
It goes your point. It goes your point.
Sylvaneth, Disciples of Tzeentch, Stormcast Eternals having a circle jerk at the top. It's not going to be
exactly. It's going to be.
It will be right back where we were at the end days of 8th edition.
I got you.
It will be.
So,
I just I look back at the guy that won Alliance with that mixed order army. I don't care what you did with that army. What would you give if he had a 400 to 500 point sideboard? What would he do to make it better? I mean, he pretty much, that was an all-comers list, and he was able to pretty much stomp. Now, evidently the games they all came close, and they were pretty tight, and I guess he actually really had a good scare against the Iron Jaws. But
are you talking about that Alex guy that won with the
mixed order, Hurricanum?
Okay. Well, he talked about if he had the models done and painted and stuff.
Right. He would
have rather have had skinks in there. And he had entertained the idea of maybe dropping a character to add something else. And that's all stuff that could sit in a sideboard.
Well, and he even said, like he was challenged during 3 places of power and all that stuff because the way his list was built, it wasn't built for that scenario, but now you give him the ability to, wow, that's good.
Sure, but you playing against him could be like, damn, that army has a lot of shooting. So this is where the 500 points that I set aside, I can kind of build up my shooting defense a little more.
Yeah, but not all armies have a shooting defense necessarily.
Yeah, what
you run into that same problem. Stormcast have it in spades.
Sure.
But other than Stormcast and a handful of other guys. I mean, if you came, your Iron Jaws, if you came against a shooting army, like, what else would you slot in besides what's in your normal list?
Probably slot my fist into my nuts for playing the Iron Jaws again.
Yeah, that would do it.
But you see what I'm saying with that,
sure,
too.
Sure.
But again, that's just an argument for the single list, no sideboard, no duel. Just bring a list and play every scenario.
So you just take it on the chin anyways.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
without any option.
And I think what we're forgetting is the whole reason the Facehammer guys did the duel list was to save time and confusion on the table for free deployment. That was the only reason they went
because the sideboard.
Because you could land up with some guy that has more than 2,000 points for some, weird doing math at table, weird calculation on the fly, or you sit there for 20 minutes deciding, well, he's got that. What am I going to take in my sideboard?
Well, and that's the case, too, is when you have that sideboard, you do build in time to the game to make those decisions. Now, I know Andrew was ready. He knew exactly scenario, opponent.
But you're talking about average Joe here.
The average guy, me playing, I'm going to sit there and agonize over that decision for, an hour and then only have 5 minutes to play.
I think that's where the idea from the double list came from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was to mitigate that.
Well, I think we can find pros and cons for all 3 approaches. Yeah. I think, maybe because we're going to do some RTT events leading up to it.
Yeah, and I think we need to try all of them and just see what
works,
what shakes out,
what gives us the best, what people have the most fun with. Maybe probably is going to be.
Yeah.
You want to get some feedback from people that might be attending Rolling Bad Rumble? Hit us up and see what they prefer. I mean, since we're
that's true.
Yeah.
If you're interested in coming to the Rolling Bad Rumble and you have a preference, let us know, but also give us reasons why, not just like, 2 lists suck because my grandma was run over by 2 lists, and if it was only one, she'd still be with us today. So I don't know,
I thought you were going to say a Signar Battlejack or something.
Yeah. But feedback would be awesome.
Yeah.
We have a thread essentially that Ryan started on TGA. I'll never check it because I don't go anywhere near TGA, but I'm sure somebody will feed me the details.
Oh, yeah. It's gory. It's detailed. But so, yeah, that's kind of our thoughts, I guess, on the dual list and stuff. I mean, it's still really up in the air. There's still so much to be determined about how it all
And like I said,
out.
I don't want it to discourage anybody from coming.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying that the Rolling Bad Rumble will be a duelist event or utilize a sideboard or anything. I'm just tossing around some ideas in my head as to the approach that I want to take towards it. So
next up, I think, Elric, you wanted to talk about the new squad army that's coming out.
all right.
That was a lead-in.
Yeah. So when the Overlords were announced, you know, and they were out there on the interwebs, Twitter had multiple reactions. I thought this was good at first. Okay. I thought it was very divisive. The previous armies that have been released have generally been well received. Just about everything that's been put out so far has been well received, other than maybe Stormcast. Stormcasts were fairly divisive, but I think pretty much everybody's gotten on board with that.
The further releases, I mean, the original, I think everybody dug. But then having a new Stormcast every other month.
Well, maybe.
No, some people didn't like the aesthetic at first. They didn't know that's where AOS was going towards that high fantasy look.
Sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't their fantasy.
All those people probably play 9th Age now, so they don't count. But anyways, so I thought the divisive thing was actually really good. I thought it meant that Games Workshop was really pushing the envelope, right? And showing that this game is beyond a high fantasy concept. I think, like, we are playing Beowulf. We are playing ancient Greek mythology where gods were born out of the headaches of other gods. Like, it's just so high concept stuff. And now they have to make, they get to make the models that reflect that. So that's why we can do stuff like take gaseous gold, cram it into a metal balloon, and have dudes that are head to toe in armor firing Gatling guns off the bows of floating ships. And it just works because this is so over the top. So, but that I get that doesn't appeal to everybody. That's fine. And I understand the old school dwarf players' reluctance to accept this because, like I said earlier, when the initial idea of a Dwarden Sky Pirate army was mentioned to me months ago, I thought that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Little did I know it was going to be amazing. So I tried to be like diplomatic on Twitter and try to address people's dislikes with it. But I kind of got to the point like, look, here's the thing. There are Games Workshop Warhammer Fantasy Battles and the old world was Middle Earth.
Yeah.
And then it sprinkled in Dungeons and Dragons stuff. That's why you have, humans, dwarves, and elves fighting against chaos, and then they put,
And that was their roots. I mean, White Dwarf was a D&D magazine. Games Workshop was a D&D company.
Well, yeah, they were a distribution company for various.
And they made modules, and I mean, that's their roots.
Right.
Was low fantasy.
And, and then obviously they took the Michael Moorcock chaos stuff and just, they made their own thing out of it. It's not like they just, ripped everything off. And I get that, that game ran for 30 years. It was the longest running world, most developed world in the fantasy ever. It's gone. Get over it. Yeah. If you want traditional style dwarves, play Lord of the Rings. Play The Hobbit. That's where that stuff comes from, and it will always be that way because that's where it all originated. Yeah. Age of Sigmar is not that borrowed story, that borrowed aesthetic.
We're not living in a moldy old world of mid-Renaissance period anymore. Get over it.
Exactly. And I wanted to be diplomatic about it at first, but like the more just negative crap that kept getting piled onto it, I was just like, guys, damn, man, get over it. It's done.
Were you actually addressing the internet when you were thinking about
I
being
said,
diplomatic?
Dear internet.
Okay. Because yeah.
What?
You're going to be diplomatic on the internet.
I tried it first, and I was like, I get it, the reluctance and stuff, but look, you can either get on this Aether Gold steam-powered badass high fantasy train, or you can kick it back at the train station and play a different game.
That's right.
Because this thing's going forward, full blast, and from here on out, the stuff we see, like if this is what they're going to do with Dwarden, I cannot even wrap my head around what elves are going to be like when that drops,
and the different factions of elves that they're going to.
Exactly,
it's going to be nuts.
And so that's the nice part, right? This is the part that really gets me. And get your finger ready on the bleep button. I swear to God, if I have to hear one more person compare this shit to squats, I'm gonna flip out. They are not squats in any way, shape, or form. There are pictures of squats next to these Overlord models. They don't look anything alike.
Yeah.
And second of all you clowns that are saying they look... Squats haven't been in 40K in 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
Over 20 years. I've been playing 40K for over 20 years, and I've never seen the army on the... It was a second edition thing. In third edition dropped in like 93?
Yeah, right around there. Yeah.
So, I could be off by a little bit, but...
Not much.
It's fairly accurate. And squats weren't even a thing at that point.
Right.
Like,
they were
that
dead
ship
by
had
then.
Sailed. Okay.
Yeah.
So it basically means that army hasn't even been around since a lot of the people playing the game now have been alive.
Yeah.
So I'm sick of hearing it, right? Like, I get that some people, like some of the 40K podcasts, be like, oh, squats. No, just kidding. Like, let's all enjoy these new models. But they're not squats, damn it. They don't look anything like squats. Were you saying that...
Oh my.
Thunderers were squats, 15 years ago because it was a dwarf with a goddamn gun? No. Did you say the Iron Drakes were squats because they look like heavily armored dudes with big ass guns? No, I didn't hear anything like that. I don't know. It just pisses me off. Like, they don't look anything like squats. Whiny ass 40K players. Speaking of which, 40K players are going to be even more whiny.
Oh boy.
Because the new edition of 40K just got announced at Adepticon. So the pictures got leaked, and I guess Andy Smiley said, okay, no more.
Yeah.
They're
not supposed to go out until midnight.
Yeah. So
but people have been pushing them out.
But
like
obviously
crazy.
by the time this comes out,
it'll be Saturday.
There will be a smoldering crater of what the internet used to be.
Yeah.
Before the unmitigated nerd rage of 40K players that have absolutely refused to believe this was going to happen. There is a picture that literally says open narrative and matched play
for 40K.
Where have I seen that before?
I think they tried it with the new edition of Fantasy.
Did they? Oh,
Age of Sigmar? Yeah. That's been probably their most successful game launch ever.
Yeah.
I mean...
who knew?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing I'm going to do is I think, after tonight's over, I'm going to go pay for my subscription back to Daka just to sit back with a martini and watch.
I'm just going to sit here with my wallet out and get ready to buy cheap-ass 40K armies.
You know it.
All these idiots that are going to sell their stuff.
And save them from the fires. And yeah, I'm going to burn them.
Oh, yeah. How many videos are we going to get like that?
Oh,
of these just setting their armies on
I
fire.
can't wait to see the first guy that burns a Guilliman model or something like that. One of the new ones. But
if you are one of those people that is going to get upset enough to put your army out in your backyard and douse it with gasoline and set it on fire to make a statement, stop for a second. Listen. Okay. It's going to be okay. Instead, what you need to do is grab an clothes iron or a frying pan, preferably cast iron, or some other large blunt object, and just smash yourself in the bazinga head repeatedly until you stop breathing my air. Because if you're stupid enough to set your army on fire to make a statement on the internet, then life probably isn't going to work out well for you. Anyways, I am so excited for the new 40K.
I am.
That's what I'm saying, right?
I am so pumped for this. Oh my god!
It's
It's going to be
good
great.
times. Good times.
Yeah, and the thing is I'm not asking for 40K to look like Age of Sigmar. I would just like it to not require 15 books, as well as 100 hours plus 9 hours of a TO's time to play a single game. That's all I ask for is just give me something that's digestible.
Yeah.
And, I don't have time to sit there and study 450 pages of rules plus the interactions plus 900 pages of ITC FAQ plus, this to play a game.
Just so you can take a strength D weapon to the face.
And
pick half your army up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. This was fun. Not.
Right. I'm so excited.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
It is going to be awesome.
I just can't hide it.
No.
I'm about to lose control. It's okay, though. I think I like it.
Yeah. It's a good thing.
James, I guess you have a big announcement you'd like to make?
Yeah, well, we have an announcement.
Oh, well,
Sure.
you pioneered it for
Yes.
us, and
Yeah.
we're all gonna push your hype train.
Yeah. Woo, woo.
So we posted something on Twitter earlier this week about a little teaser trailer. We're gonna, like we promised, we're gonna start doing battle reports on YouTube.
Yep.
So that I already got all the equipment in. This last weekend I filmed the first one with Ryan.
Yeah.
He came down from Durango.
Came all the way down to get tabled in 2 turns.
Yep.
Oh, spoiler alert!
Oops. Well, okay.
He actually predicted it at the beginning of the game, which was very.
What? You're telling me that Ryan doubted his ability to play the game and thought that he wasn't going to win? He's such an optimist, though.
So hopefully by the time this comes out, maybe we'll have our introduction video for the channel, I'm hoping. Probably start releasing them, I want to say over the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
I want to build a nice little back catalog.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I think the goal is going to be to release it probably in the off weeks that we don't have the
Right.
podcast.
Yeah.
That way you got rolling bad content
Weekly.
weekly.
Yeah, I've actually been getting requests for that.
We're becoming a media empire.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in our own mind.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited about it. It's going to be long form battle reports.
Right.
So we'll probably this one was pretty short because spoiler alert, turn 2.
Yeah.
So this one's only like an hour.
But we're going to do our own spin on it by doing all the reports shirtless, right? Topless? Topless battle reports?
Whoa. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. News to me.
I mean, no?
But then people will have to get their subscription through Pornhub.
Well, that's fine. We'll have to pause the game every now and then to... No.
No,
never mind.
stop.
So yeah, look forward to those. I'm just going to admit it now. I'm blatantly copying Tabletop Tactics because I think he does the best battle reports out there. So if it looks a little bit familiar, that's why.
Well, they actually do have a great format for bat reps.
If you're into watching
The long format.
detailed
stuff. Yeah.
battle reports. Because, there tends to be those and then the, let's take our 2-hour game and condense it down into, 15 minutes and just touch on
those
the
don't work
highlights.
for me, though. I've never seen anything that compelling.
And
Sure.
you
That's
lose a
all.
lot of detail and you don't know why things were done.
Yeah.
At least with the long format, you can kind of cover not, minute, I picked up this model and moved him 2.3
Yeah.
inches so that I would be in range of, no, we're not going to
Plus,
do
it has
that.
a pretty good flow to it, I think. I mean, if you listen to his latest interview on Canhammer
Oh,
with
yeah.
Vox, he goes into detail and, he talks a little bit why he thinks his channel is successful. I totally agree. I mean, it's just the atmosphere he creates. I mean, when you watch those battle reports, you get invested in them.
Yeah.
And you're rooting for someone. You get to know the people that are running them. You feel like you're, those guys. You feel like you're gaming with them.
Right.
So
It's kind of like watching a game while you're playing your other game. You're still right there. You're not in it, but you're right there. And that's really cool.
yeah, exactly. So that's
I know how we can make it unique. So we could add another level of immersion to it. So say like you're playing my Iron Jaws and I cast Foot of Gork, right? And it tears through your army. I can just take my shoe off and paint my foot green and then stomp on the table, right? To actually create. We could like.
So the live action role play Age of Sigmar?
Yeah, it's like a LARP, AOS, really expensive games of Warhammer. No?
What race uses flamethrowers? Because I'm going to be them.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, all my Z stuff is all flames. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's about it. If you're in the mountain region here and you want to play, hit me up.
Yeah.
We'll try to work something out. The only requirement is it does have to be painted.
3-color minimum?
Well, yeah, I guess my Z stuff is 3-color minimum right now.
Yeah.
But has to look presentable. You know, painted fully.
Don't dictate my
based.
narrative.
Oh, it's my channel. I'm going to dictate your narrative.
Yeah.
You
Fair
bet
enough.
I will.
Yeah.
I am the dictator of this thing, so.
Uh-oh.
Nice.
But, yeah, hit me up and we'll see what we can do. I was looking for new armies to play.
So I'm looking forward to doing a battle report. One of the dreams I have of this is playing against you, James. You're way better at it than I am. I think it's going to be fun for someone to watch me learn how to play the game better because I'm playing against a far superior player. Because I always find that if you play against the same level of player, you never really improve.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, and I think that's what we're trying to fit in with this channel too, because I know a lot of the established 40K players are trying to do AOS battle reports.
Yeah.
But they're learning the game as they go, and they don't know that those tactical minutiae that we've learned over the last year and a half. So we're kind of a year ahead of them.
Yeah, a
little
bit ahead. And
so
yeah.
it's I mean, we're going to have a variety. It's not just going to be hardcore competitive list, but when it's me and Andrew, and
it's going to be a game.
It's going to be a game, hopefully.
Right.
But we'll have a wide variety of different title reports.
When it's me and Mike, it'll be a funny game to watch.
At
as
least
we screw up everything.
At least Elric won't be able to slow play you, Bill.
Yeah. Oh,
what? What?
I put it out on Twitter the other day, and a lot of people agreed with me. That it wasn't me. So, I don't know. I just put a little poll out there. So, I'm kidding. I didn't. It was my fault, all right?
No.
Jeez. So, what do we have left?
Something about a contest, I hear.
Oh, yeah.
So, we could actually get a drum roll, which I will add during edit.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Is this going to be like the countless podcasts that say they're going to add something when they edit and then
don't do
listen
it?
to them talk about
Yeah.
doing it and then they don't do it?
Yeah.
We'll
So
edit that
good.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll edit that part out.
Don't worry. We'll edit. All right.
All right. So, we have, since the beginning of the podcast, we have accrued 20 5-star ratings, which is really nice. And that's
Thank
all
you.
we have is 5 stars. So thank you all very much.
So 25-star ratings or 25-star ratings?
20, comma, 5-star ratings.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it's the Oxford comma. However, only 19 of them left comments. So we have 19 entrants in the great, big, scary Who's Going to Win the Stormcast Eternal Battletome contest. We also have a very large D20 that Elric is going to roll very loudly on the table. Make sure it hits the wood, man.
So we have 19 names to pick from.
Mm-hmm.
So it means that if I roll a 20...
And we do have one
take
that
it for
has
myself.
said that if he gets it... We do have one person that said if he gets it to roll again because he doesn't want to take
No,
it.
we'll send him 2.
Oh, okay, cool. But they'll be the old ones that we don't want anymore.
All right, here we go. Edit in the drum roll now. Now, Bill.
No.
If you're listening during editing,
Right.
edit now.
Okay, got it.
A 20! Boom! I just got a Stormcast Eternal book. Yes! First I win my own tournament, then I win my own giveaway.
Roll it again because we only have 19.
Damn.
You
All right.
wagon.
Ah.
Okay, so we got a 19 that time. You're not playing D&D with me ever.
Yeah.
So, whoever is north down west, you are the big winner of the Stormcast Eternal Battletome. If you could get a hold of us either on Twitter or one of our emails, get us your...
Or call Bill at 1-505... Oh, wait.
1-800?
Yeah.
No. Go ahead and get a hold of us, get us your address, and we will get that mailed off to you post haste. Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
I think we got ourselves a show, gentlemen.
I think so. Stay tuned. Adepticon is dropping, and so is almost the entire AOS/40K interweb community.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, let the galaxy burn.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
Yes,
Your tears are delicious.
Oh, we don't harbor any ill will or judgment. No.
If you would like to get a hold of us, you can reach us at our email address, which is rollingbadpodcast@gmail.com. You can also visit our website at rollingbad.com. We have a Twitter account for the podcast, which is at rolling_bad. We also have a Facebook page. You can just search for Rolling Bad on Facebook. We each have an individual Twitter account. You can reach me at Elric Edge.
You can get me at Bill Castello, Castello.
And I'm at Tersoth.
You can also see our work, mostly James, at our Instagram page, Rolling Bad, all one word.
No, you
That
did.
is not a pun.
That was a pun.
No.
Yes, it was.
That was...
It was a play on words.
No, that was a simple verbal assessment of the situation.
It was a cutting edge assessment
I sort
of... You're just going to reach over and hit me, aren't you?
On the edge with Elric Edge.
With. See? All puns. All puns. And they're
Triggered.
good. Hashtag triggered.
Oh my.
Until they send us a cease and desist letter.
Well, there could be that. Oh, by the way, your empire, shut it down.
Yeah. Pull the plug.
Oh my.
Not the only time you put a little pole out there.
Well, he's got me there. No kids. You jerk.